Now, that's one that is without definition. We will derive it from the Local Government Municipal Structures Act. At 728, staying at page 403, it says parties shall operate in each other's operating area or jurisdiction only during planned operations and for duration of the operation. In all operations, an operational plan must be submitted prior to the operation within a reasonable time to the Office Sub-Provincial Commissioner for approval.
Yes, yes.
At 729, 7.2.9, it says the executive authority requesting an operation to its area together with SAPS will take the lead to the operation. Now, these clauses speak to the question of jurisdiction and operating in the various jurisdictions by the various municipal police departments. Do you understand that as well?
Very clear.
Now, this document prescribes how that cooperation must happen, and it prescribes that any of the police municipal departments will operate in a jurisdiction other than theirs only during planned operations. That's 7.2.8, do you see?
Yes.
And that goes to the question that Commissioner Khumalo asked you.
Yes.
Whether operating outside your jurisdiction, is it strictly during planned operations or even without planned operations? And I think your response was, it doesn't require planned operations.
No, I've said during and sometimes it's unplanned operations, members go. In fact, I'm agreeing with you that this document talk about the operations, spontaneous operations, the operations where members got information now and go and execute. Sometimes it leads them to outside where the suspect, they apprehend the suspect and everything.
And he gave an example, I think, about whether you can go search for and arrest a suspect in Soweto without EMPD, and you confirmed that you have the authority to do so.
Yes, I've said we even went,
yes,
we are going outside the province.
Yes, and you even said you go internationally as well.
No, international, I was talking about the exhuming of the previous, yes. It is a different memorandum of understanding than this one.
Okay. Now this would be inconsistent with that answer, but I accept that this was signed in 2025.
Yes.
Because this 2025 version says you may only do so within a planned operation.
No, it is a...
The document, I'm not talking about reality on the ground, I'm talking about what the document is telling us.
I agree with you on this one.
So are you suggesting that prior to the signature of this document, something else permitted you to do it otherwise than as prescribed by this document?
Prior and after, operations are going on, as I'm saying. I don't want to come in, want to impress the commission that we are complying. The next thing, when we get the states said we went in there and arrested the suspect that was running away from our jurisdiction, said we were able to apprehend.
You ran ahead of me, I hadn't posed my question yet.
Humble apologies, I apologize.
So if now we know based on this document that it can only be a planned operation and it specifies strictly, clause 7.2, the process that must be followed, and that it requires a request for an operation in its area, as we have read. So this document would suggest that no other form of operation outside a planned operation is permissible. Is that your understanding as well?
But operational is a different story. I agree with you. I was part of this. I was part of formation of this document. I participated in this document.
Okay.
But due to, as I've said, that our jurisdictions, our demarcations, you see, you may find yourself in this era thinking that you are in this era. The other operation makes you to be outside of jurisdiction whilst you plan to be in this. You see, this happening on a daily basis. I don't want to lie. I don't want to impress this commission.
So then I must understand it is still happening today, notwithstanding what this MOU prescribes, that it can only be for planned operations. Nonetheless, EMPD still operates outside its
It's-
jurisdiction.
Chairperson, it's happening, I can't lie.
Okay.
Yes, it's not only in EMPD. You see, it's happening. As I've said, that you drive around, you see members stopping executing. Sometimes find that they were driving towards that place where they stay or they're going to the place of work. And then offense is happening.
Okay.
There you can't stop and say, I'm waiting for the command and operational plan, where they are able to need assistance. For example, sometimes the chief of transport will call, hey, I've got my members there, they need your assistance because they can't execute, I can't do that. There, we intervene. But there are those planned ones, you see.
It might be helpful.
For example, for illicit, sorry.
I was saying it might be helpful to look at page 415, where section 64 prescribed the powers, and that whoever prepared that, it specifically says that the powers in 64F may only be executed within the
You are
borders.
too fast, Commissioner.
Am I too fast? Page 415? I think if we are looking for the
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
boundaries of the powers.
I got it.
Yes, it says that the powers in 64F of the SEPS Act may only be exercised within the borders of Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Council unless, and this is that important part, unless an appropriate agreement has been signed with a neighboring municipality. So that tells us very clearly that in the absence of an agreement, you don't have the legal authority to operate outside the Ekurhuleni Metro. You see where I'm reading?
Yes, I think it's what we need to correct. I agree, we need to stick and correct that. And those that, because I'm still on suspension, those that are viewing, we need to engage on that and make sure that we stick on that. We need to agree that there's that limits and this will be.
Just so I don't get lost, what are you suggesting needs to be corrected?
No, I'm saying we need to stick on that. The way Commissioner Baloyi, she's reading it.
Yes.
You see, we need to make sure that we stick on this. You see,
It's not the way
She's
Commissioner
reading it.
Baloyi is reading it. It's how it's written. It's how it's written.
yes,
And just so
So
you
the
find your
correct-
bearings, that's a 2001 agreement.
May I read it, Commissioner? I think you were too fast, and I read the list.
You may read it.
Please. Section 64F of the South African Police Service Act 1995 prescribes the powers of metropolitan police officers and state that these powers may only be executed within the borders of Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Council unless an appropriate agreement has been signed with a neighboring municipality. To such an agreement have been signed with neighboring municipalities who either already have municipal police service or who are on the verge of establishing such municipal police services. Other agreement with neighboring municipalities will be signed once Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipal Services have been established. Okay. The reason therefore is that the other municipalities are not, let me limit myself to this. I get you. Thank you, Chair.
Yes. As I understand it, you say what is supposed to be corrected
Yes.
is that you must stop operating outside your municipal boundaries because section 64F doesn't allow you to operate outside.
Yes, Chair, no, I get you now. Thank you. Thank you for correcting.
Just clarify something for me. Assuming your understanding is correct, if EMPD officers were to go to KZN, as you say, or to Soweto to arrest a suspect and confiscate stolen goods, when you come back to EMPD offices, where do you record that event?
The members are having pocketbooks. Members are having, the units are having OP, but we had a challenge for the past 10 years. They use their own diaries, their own books, they record. But monthly, there's a stats that we're getting in terms of the feedback.
You say it will only appear in the member's individual diary?
Yes,
So
pocket
if a member
books.
went to Soweto to arrest a suspect, or let's not use an arrest because somebody has to be detained if they are arrested. So if they went to Soweto and they confiscated stolen goods, the only place they would record that and the fact that they've confiscated goods is in the member's own individual diary.
From our side, we can check through that.
Where do they book the goods that they have confiscated?
I would say it depends per operation. Sometimes you book or sometimes I can't tell. But they are supposed to go to the police station or book it where it's necessary. For example, if you find the explosive, you can't take them to the police station. You call a relevant team to do that. If you find, for example, animals, it's the issue of SPCA. It differs per operation, per your, let me say per operations because
I
it's
think
broad.
you assisted me halfway through your answer because if I understand you correctly, if they confiscate stolen goods in Soweto, they must take them to the police station.
Yes.
And
yes,
that
yes,
must be
yes.
recorded
Yes,
there.
yes, yes, yes.
That's all I needed to
Then
clarify.
through our own books, then we'll get it maybe weekly or monthly, that there was this operation that was done. Because you can't be there every day and
Thank.
If there's no notebook, because the police officer has lost their notebook, we will never know about that operation.
I must say that, Chair, because that's one of the challenges that was having us. For the past 10 years, we didn't have pocket books, OP books. You see, administration was not there. You see, you only depend when they reported. You see, that's why sometimes you'll get a complaint after a year or 6 months or 7 months. You actually, what happened? You see, why didn't you do this? Why? No, we didn't have this and that. You see, that's a challenge. But at least now, when I acted, we were able to have an agreement with government printers of pocket books of OP because we depended, to be honest, we depended on SAPS. If such police station doesn't have, we were always begging, asking for OP books. You can't ask for SAPS a pocket book because it's writing SAPS. But for OP book, members will go, or you need commanders. In fact, we're putting them into pressure. That's not supposed to be like that. They will go to a certain police station. If you've got an extra OP, please, may you please borrow us or may you please give us that OP book. Administratively, it was a very serious challenge, I must say, to this commission. But I'm told now that, just that I'm suspended, but they've started to deliver. The government printers have started to deliver OP books, pocket book. I think it has improved now. Because by law, each and every member must issue a pocket book. The unit or the precinct must have an OP where you record book members on duty, you book members. So you can't book them on your own diary or pocket book because you may lose it at any time. And that OP must be at the office so that if the other shift is coming in, the prison commander or that, sometimes you don't have, in other stations, we are having challenges of commanders, but that member that has been identified to be an acting inspector must book all those that are going to, and they must sign that we are here, everything. So that's a challenge that we had as the
Commissioner,
EMPD.
because you have a habit of speaking for a long time, let's not focus on other members, let's focus on you. So your OB book or the OB book that applied to you and your diary. So forget about the other members and other officers. Your one, you are able to produce it.
No, I don't operate on the OP book or diary.
So if you were to go to Mfuleni or Midval or Soweto, where would you, not other members, you, Julius Mkwanazi, if you were going to an operation outside of Ekurhuleni, where would you record that?
By law, I'm supposed to report it on the police radio and say, we are moving out of jurisdiction. But again, it's a challenge because you don't have communication radios too.
I don't want you to give long answers.
Oh,
Where do you record? Is there a piece of paper where you, Julius Mkwanazi, records that I was in Soweto on this date, it was an operation, and we confiscated stolen goods?
No, I don't have, but I depend on members.